Right, guys. I noticed the tourist go home things have kind of come to light again in Tenerife and the Canary Islands in particular. So I'll just stick to talking about like Tenerife, right, and what my take is on these on this thing. And the protest was started actually by a Brit. I think he's Welsh. So he could go home for a start, and make the island, more Spanish, if you like. So I don't know what kind of call a foreigner will have who's gone to somewhere, and then they're calling the shots about who can go there and who can't. So anyway, that's the first point. Now the second one is the Tenerife and the Canaries is an autonomous region, so they govern themselves. So it's all on them, everything. Like people looking for a holiday destination, they don't research into like the impact their hotels had on the local environment. They just look at Booking.com and say, "Hey, look, here's a good place to go. Do you fancy that?" And it's sunny at this time of year, and the partner or whoever or the family say, "Yeah, go there." So that's what Joe Bag of Donuts does. He's not looking at like if he's endangering like lizards or anything like that. He's just looking at how much it is, um, and can they get there from their local airport and that kind of thing. It's not in his remit to take into account what impact it has on the local population or the local environment. It's of none of his. That's not in his kind of what's going on in his head. He's looking for a holiday, and Tenerife has been always been attracting people. They attract the people. They advertise on these sites. Now, if they want to control how many people they go there or who can build stuff, now they also say, yeah, it's foreigners who are building the all the hotels and that. They're not. They're getting permission. They get permission of Tenerife, the planning authorities. That's obvious. It's probably the best case in the world to say like it's all on you. It's all on them, all of it, because people have to fly in there, and they can't fly in if there's nowhere to sleep. They're not going to go. So they can cap it. It's the easiest place in the world to control, because they govern themselves. They give the permissions out themselves, and they also decide or can decide who can own the property there. We have property laws in Bulgaria, and you've got to form a company and things like that, and you can own the land, but you can't own the home, things like that. And they also control immigration here quite strictly, actually. Although, they say it's catastrophic that the population's decreasing, they know that there's certain people that they don't want here. And that's that. And they make the rules. And Tenerife makes the rules. So it's all on them, everything. The water supply, the sewage, everything. If there's no capacity in the sewage, then you shouldn't be given consent, permission. And if there's not enough water, which there could be anyway, because all you have to do is get more. A lot of it's desalination on the Tenerife, and they could get more plants. I've lived in a place with no fresh water, and we had desalination plants in Gibraltar. And they could also, most people you'll see will be drinking anyway, bottled water, which they pay for. So that's unlimited. If they're paying for it, you just fly it in. The more the better. Just fly the water in. So you can get bottled water anywhere. You can probably get it from Morocco or close by, somewhere in Africa, or wherever. That's not an issue. Bottled water. That's unlimited. If you've got more people, you just order more water. That's easily solved. And if they're on about water for showers and that, they can have what's his name? They can cut the water off, curfews, certain hours of the day, and that'll stop people going there, which is what they want. So it's all on them and the locals. They're the local population. They voted these people in. They voted them in. They voted the people who can stop it, and probably the only people who can stop it. They voted them in. Same as everywhere else. You vote these idiots in, and they're all corrupt, and they're taking probably nice backhanders off people who want. So that's the people who should be outside their houses, not harassing people on the beach. It's nothing to do with them. It's nothing to do with them. They don't know how many people's there. Joe Bag of Donuts, he just goes on holiday. It's nothing to do with them, and they're willing to spend money as well. So I don't really know why anyone would go there anyway. After all this, I would never go there in the first place anyway, because I tend to like it. I agree with it. I agree with you shouldn't have these huge mass tourism. I agree with it 100%. That's not the point. That's not the point I'm making now. I'm making the point that that's the ultimate place where you could control everything. You can control the flights, you can control who comes and who goes, who owns what. It's easy. It's so easy to do, and you can tell people why you're doing it, but why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it? And the people voting them in, and they're walking along the beach shouting at tourists. It's nothing to do with them, nothing at all. They're just going on holiday, like they're encouraged to do by Tenerife. They're encouraged to go there. They always have been. How would they go else otherwise? It's billed as a holiday destination, and people are looking for a holiday. They're not looking to like I said, research the local impact on the, and there's another couple of points in Tenerife. If they're on about the local environment, they've just also granted licenses to drill in oil right off. You see them from the beach. So they're drilling oil right off the coast because there's oil rigs everywhere. So why aren't they protesting about that? And they've increased the biggest water user, and one of the biggest catastrophes which they're having in Portugal and other places is avocados. And they've given permission for huge plantations in Tenerife. So is that where the water's going? Look into that one. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. I'll bet you the avocado trees drink more than the tourists. How about that? Look into that one. And because it's actually lowered the water table parts of Portugal. It's a disaster. And Spain, like all the orange groves around a place I used to go to, and I went back a few years ago, and I used to go there 25 years ago, all around the orange groves around a place called Guadiaro in Spain, mainland, just near Gibraltar. And they're all avocados now. They're all avocados. they've changed the orange trees to avocados, and I don't know where else they have. But like the avocados are probably the worst thing you could ever have, and they've done it in Tenerife, which they've hardly got any water for that kind of tree. You know, it's supposed to be a tropical rainforest tree. That's what they are. This is where you probably that's where these avocados are like bullets. They're horrible now. Some of the avocados because obviously they're being not watered enough, and they're rock hard. Horrible. I don't eat them anymore, and I don't eat them because of that fact. Because I know they're catastrophic on the environment. That's another reason I don't eat them. And I'm not like a big activist or anything like that. That's voting with your feet, and I wouldn't go to Tenerife. So I'm the perfect person for them. You know, I'm with them, but I'm saying it's all on them, all of it, everything. So they need to be protesting to themselves. And they say the Airbnb movement, just ban it. Just say you can't do it. That's it. Because it's affecting the housing economy, the local housing economy. And I wonder how many of them... And they've sold the properties to foreigners. The locals, they've sold the property to foreigners. Or the locals themselves will be... We'll be running them, Airbnbs and Booking.com. This is the flatlets and the apartments and that. And you look at Booking.com just as an exercise. I haven't done it, but I'll bet you all the phone numbers are local. You know, if they were foreigners, they'd be foreign numbers. And I've been to some that around here. In the Balkans, which are foreign owned, and usually they have a foreign number, and they're running it from the other country, and they have someone with the key and the cleaner and that, which they're employing them, giving them work. So Tenerife, that's a good example of greed and then blaming the wrong people. They shouldn't be targeting the tourists at all. You know, that's absolutely wrong. They should be targeting their own people who are given all these permissions and controlling and can control. You can't drive into Tenerife from elsewhere, so they can't say that's a factor. People just descending on the place. You've got to fly in, and it's got to be organised. And it's got to be encouraged. All of those things. And it's all done by them. And them being, you know, their elected government, you know, that there's no one else gives... and that's a good example. That's autonomous there. So they're supposed to be, you know, have their interests. They're all their own interests at heart, you know, because they govern themselves. So there's the argument that I would have. Disgrace. Now, other places like Malaga and places like that's a city, isn't it? You know, and Barcelona, I can understand that because, you know, it's quite hard to control then. But Tenerife, let's stick with that one, which is the main, it seems to be the main epicentre of the protests again. So if we just stick with that example, I mean, it's on you, Tenerife, so you sort it out. Don't be harassing tourists. Disgraceful. Cheers.